In this video, I'll show you how to build a perfect e-commerce team, whether you're just starting out and getting your first VA hired, or you've already been in business for some time, you're doing $500,000 per month, $1 million per month like I'm doing here, and you want to elevate your team, you want to bring some A players to your team to buy back some of your time and also to create more leverage in your business. This video is for you. And everything that I'll be sharing here is based on experience, because in this brand, for instance, we've been through all of the stages. You can see here just in the last 12 months, the progression that we've been through. So you can see we went from like $140,000 per month to over $1 million per month. So everything that I'll be sharing here is not based on theory. It's not based on the book that I've read, but based on the real world experience and real practice. All right, so I have all of the stages of team building outlined here. As you can see, there's 4 different stages, and I'll be explaining them one by one. I'll show you exactly who to hire, when not to hire, who not to hire, so you see the full picture of how it should be done. So at this stage, you're a solopreneur, which means you just started the business. You're doing most of the things in business by yourself. You're probably building your own website. You're probably launching your own ads. You're probably answering your own customer support tickets, and that's totally fine. At the beginning of your journey, it's important to have a good understanding of all of the moving parts of the business so that as you hire new people to your team, you understand exactly what they're supposed to do. One of the biggest mistakes that people do is that they start hiring too early. They start to outsource and they start to bring in some agencies without truly understanding different processes in their business. So at this stage, it's probably just you. And at this stage, you probably can get to $50,000 per month. Some people get to $100,000 per month just by doing everything by themselves. They might be editing their own videos. They might be tweaking their own website, running their own ads, talking to their suppliers. So all of these things are done by one person. And that's totally doable with this structure to get to even $100,000 per month in sales. I even know some entrepreneurs that got to like $200,000, $300,000 per month in sales, but it gets overwhelming because there's many different tasks that you're doing and you're spread in so many different directions that it becomes overwhelming for you. Now, as you're getting traction with your business, you're getting to the stage where you have some capital, you have some profit, so you can start bringing in some team members to help you out. So this is the stage number 2. And I call this stage noob entrepreneur. Why noob? Because you're an entrepreneur, you're in business, you're doing some numbers, which is phenomenal. And even these numbers, they're pretty good numbers, but you're still beginner. You don't know how to build a team. You don't know who to hire. So you probably will make some mistakes along the way. And that's totally fine. I've been through all of these stages myself, from this stage to this stage that I'll share with you. And this one here is where most people get stuck. Why they get stuck is because they don't elevate from this stage to this stage, because on this stage, you'll have to learn not just to manage yourself, but to manage other people. So some of the team members that you would have to bring on board, is obviously you would do some of the tasks yourself, but you also would bring some VAs and contractors. At this stage, you also can bring some video editors and potentially media buyer. Media buyer is a tricky one, I'll explain in a second, but all of these are contractors, right? So for example, you would hire someone to answer your email tickets or to answer the phone from your customers, because this is kind of like lower value activity and you want to outsource it first. You want to remove the lowest value tasks from your plate so that you can focus on a bigger picture of the business. Maybe it's finding another product to sell. Maybe it's crafting another offer. Maybe just managing other people, or maybe it's even just managing your ads better. And so here on this stage, you would supervise all of these people. Mostly they're hired from Philippines or some other countries where you don't have to pay them extraordinary salary. For example, contractors or VAs that you would hire for managing your email would be like $3, $4 per hour. That's very reasonable. Sometimes if they're experienced, maybe it's $6, $8 per hour. And media buyer is one of the biggest kind of like roles at this stage, because if you're advertising, let's say on Facebook, or that's your primary source of traffic, then a media buyer is something that literally drives revenue in your business. And one of the biggest mistakes that entrepreneurs make is that they start to kind of like looking for a media buyer, or they bring the agency in where they're on this stage. And I don't recommend to do that, because if you're on this stage and you're managing your own ads, and that's literally the most valuable activity that you do, you probably just want to stick to it until you find someone who you can fully trust. And most agencies honestly suck. And a matter of fact, because most agencies, they have too many clients, they have overwhelmed staff. One of their media buyers could be managing 5-10 different ad accounts, which means you only get this much attention to your business. Whereas if you manage your ads, you give your business 100% of attention, because that's literally your money on the line. And so what I would recommend here, and what was working well for us, is for a media buyer to bring someone young, maybe with little experience, and train them exactly on your techniques, on your methods, give them some education, give them some courses, give them some training so they can become better at media buying, but teach them on your methods. Many media buyers, they learn from different sources, and they've been doing something for 5 years, and now they're like, oh, I've been doing this strategy for 5 years. It was working 5 years ago. I learned it from this guy. Well, guess what? That strategy might not be working anymore, because something else is working today. Bid caps, cost caps, Advantage Plus. You have ABOs, you have CBOs, you have different targeting options. So all of those things are evolving over time, and you want to have someone who's truly committed to learning and becoming better every single day. So if that's not you, it has to be the person on your team who's dedicated to that. So on this stage, you can get to $50,000, $300,000 per month. Very realistic. Some people get even more, and all of these numbers are just benchmarks. I know some people that are getting to $500,000 per month, even $1 million per month with a very lean team, but at some stage it starts to break. And as you scale your business, you will see that some of the processes, some of the systems, some of the people cannot even handle the pressure, because the quality of people that you have right now might not be the quality of people that you have on your team that will help you to elevate your business to the next level. And it's very important to look subjectively at people, because some people might have helped you to grow to this level, but they're not ready to elevate themselves to get you to the next level. So stage number 3 is $300,000 to $1 million per month. This one is where business gets you more freedom. This is where you start getting more time. This is also when you start getting more money, life becomes very good. You might buy some Lamborghini, you might buy some good stuff for yourself. So I call this stage up and comers. So this is for entrepreneurs that have been in business for some time, have made some mistakes, they kind of like have some bruises and some bad experiences here. So they learn from those, and they elevate themselves to this level. So here, the team member structure is, at this stage, you need someone for operations. What that means? You need someone who would take the part of the business. Let's say if you're a good marketer, maybe you're good with ads, you're a good media buyer, you really understand that part of the business, but you're not very excited about managing people or creating processes and SOPs and just like supervising people and giving them feedback. In that case, you need someone for operations. Sometimes these are formed from partnerships. Sometimes two people come together. One of them is more kind of people-oriented, process-oriented person, and another one is a marketer. Those are perfect combinations. But let's say if two marketers come together, they partner up on the project, they definitely need someone for the operations, because if business is only predicated on marketing, you'll drive a lot of sales, but you will also drive disputes. There will be issues with people, there will be issues with processes, with systems. Business will break. So you always need these two parts in a business. You need the marketing part that is very strong, but you also need the operations part. And so on this stage, you would have the video editors depending on what kind of products you're selling. If you're selling just with images, perfect, good for you. But if you're using VSLs, if you're using more advanced stuff, you need video editors. Customer support team will grow at this stage, because imagine the amount of orders that you'll be getting every day and the amount of comments that people will need to answer to every single day. You'll need someone who manages your ads as well at this stage, because it becomes overwhelming with all of the other parts of the business. You might bring someone who is a copywriter. You might need someone who is a developer or a tech person. You might need a creative strategist, someone who would create ideas for your ads and craft scripts and just look for new ideas to advertise your product. And you also need bookkeeper or fractional CFO. This is something that a lot of entrepreneurs ignore, because they're like, oh, let's just drive more sales. Let's just drive more profit. But then they realize, oh, our profit is not actually what we think it is, because we're not counting these expenses and those expenses. It's like, whoa, there's a lot of mass that's being created. So I would recommend to bring in bookkeeper and fractional CFO. If you need some recommendation, just hit me up on Instagram. I'll introduce you to some good people. And so as this team grows, all of these people will be reporting either to yourself if you're in charge of marketing, or they'll be reporting to someone in charge of the operations. So for example, customer support team will report directly to operations. Media buyer will report to you if you're in charge of marketing. Copywriter, it's marketing. So they'll be reporting to you. So you can see there's like two different buckets that are forming. And so this is how every organization is built. It's built by these buckets of different people that report to each other. So you build a structure where not every single decision is made by yourself. It's made by people on different levels, and they report to a certain person, and that person reports to you. And that's how the structure is built. And so some of the biggest mistakes that people make here is that they overhire. They hire too many people. They don't know how to manage them. They don't have enough work for all of those people. So I would always recommend hire when it hurts. A lot of people just overhire. I did this mistake myself. At some stage, we had to let a lot of people go because we saw that our business will grow like this because we had the period of very, very extensive growth, but the business was growing like this, and then it's kind of settled down. And so we overhired and we had to let some people go. You also have to be constantly conscious of your profit margins. In e-commerce businesses, what I would recommend is to have approximately 10% of your revenue dedicated to payroll, right? This is something that I assume as a rule of thumb. You also want to have at least $1 million in revenue for every full-time employee that you have. So there's a difference between contractors and full-time employees. So for example, here, video editors, initially on this stage, you would hire them as contractors, but then over time, as there is more and more work for them, you would bring them full time, you would integrate them into your culture, into your company, you would make them excited about working with you. And so over time, you build this structure where the team is fully allocated and focused on your business specifically. Because you can only grow so much with contractors. Contractors, they work with different clients, their attention is all over the place. So the same rule as with agencies applies. So as we go from this stage to this stage, and this stage is e-com savage, right? So there's a lot of people that in this stage, a lot of my good friends, I consider myself e-com savage as well. And so on this stage, you are becoming a leader, right? So at this stage, you're probably not managing your ads. You're probably not just in nitty gritty every single day with every little task in your business. You have someone who is a chief operating officer or operations manager. So here, could be this person that evolves to this stage if they're evolving and they're becoming better at what they do. Or you even might bring someone who's already had experience with a similar size of the company, similar kind of the structure, so that you bring them in and they bring all of the systems, the processes, they know how to manage people, they managed big teams before. And so that will be your right-hand person, unless you have a partner who's that person already. And still, you would have video editors, customer support, media buyer, copywriter, developer, or tech person, depending on the complexity of what you're doing, creative strategists, maybe you need more than one at this stage, bookkeeper, fractional CFO, and then agencies for different traffic sources. Now, again, most agencies suck, and you want to be vetting them very, very religiously because it can cost you a lot of time and it costs you a lot of money if you hire their own agencies. So always ask for at least 3 referrals from agencies, 3 clients that they work with that are similar size as you, that have maybe similar products or work in the same niche or similar niche, so that you verify that they actually have delivered the result that they promised. A lot of people just posting screenshots or copying screenshots from other people and just using that as a validation of the work that they have done, but you always want to talk to real people that they have worked with. Hey, how was your experience working with this person? Would you recommend them? Right? Okay, cool. Yeah, that person was good. However, their communication, there's sometimes they didn't respond on time. Sometimes they made some big mistakes. So, okay, so now you know exactly who you are hiring. Also, as you go through all of these stages, you have to realize that you have to become better. If you want your business to become better, if you want your business to do bigger numbers, you have to become better as an entrepreneur, as a leader. Because here, you would have to maintain the culture. You also have to have daily huddles so that you keep all of the team aligned on the same page, keep everyone accountable, especially if the team is remote. Because with remote teams, it's very easy to get distracted. If someone works from Philippines, maybe they have some issues at home. Maybe they have some distractions that they're facing. So it's very easy to get distracted if you're working remotely, so you keep that culture aligned. You also want to do in-person meetings. So for this stage, I would recommend at least 1 time a year to do in-person meeting for your team. For example, some of my friends, they have their team in Philippines, so they're flying into Philippines, they're organizing a big meetup, they're renting a mansion, they're all having a good time together, they're aligning and building the team bond. At this stage, it's also important to give people the benefits that they're looking for. Maybe it's health insurance, maybe it's 401k if they're working from the United States, maybe it's some other thing that they're looking for. In Philippines, there is a third in salary kind of bonus that everyone is expecting. And so you want to make sure that your expectations as a company and what you're providing them matches, exactly what people are looking for, because that will make them stick for longer. It's very hard to replace a good person on your team. And if you're losing someone, it will take you like few months to replace them. It will cost you a lot of money. It will cost you a lot of lost opportunities. So you want to make sure that you're keeping people for as long as possible. If you have some key team members on your team, you also might consider giving them equity or portion of the business, portion of the profit, so that you're incentivizing them to work with you as long as possible and also aligning interests. Let's say if you exit your business for millions of dollars or tens of millions of dollars, they're getting a cut of that exit. So it might potentially make them rich, and you're all working together to achieve the same goal. Now, I don't want to sugarcoat it. Transitioning through all of these stages is stressful because sometimes you would hire a bad person, or the person is not a good fit, or maybe you didn't onboard them properly, you didn't give them the right expectations, and that person just fails at what they do. And then you're kind of like, oh, I don't want to hire anyone anymore. I'll just do everything myself. So people get stuck at this stage. And I was definitely there. I did this mistake myself where I hired people. I didn't do a good job managing them or leading them or giving them the right expectations. Those people didn't work out. And then I'm like, okay, I'll just do everything myself. And I would just work 18 hours a day to just keep the business moving, making money, but then I just burn myself out. So I don't recommend this approach. You definitely want to learn all of these stages. One of the best books that you can read on this topic is called Who? WHO. I will include it in the description as well. I highly recommend you read that book because it will give you a lot of perspective on the different quality of people that you can bring to your team that will help you to elevate your business forward. Now, if you need help building a personalized team structure for your business, depending where you're at right now, what kind of business you want to build, what kind of people you have to bring on board, helping you to recruit, helping you to hire, helping you to train all of those people, giving them the right expectations, giving them the training, giving them everything they need to succeed in your business, then book a call with my team. We'll dig into your situation and we'll craft a personalized blueprint for you to hire an amazing team for your business. It should be the first link in the description. And if you're just starting out, or maybe you're in one of these stages, don't freak out. You will figure it out. As long as you get the right support, as long as you're learning from books and from other people who have successfully done it, you'll be able to elevate yourself to this level. If I was able to do it coming from Ukraine, never had any leadership experience, never had any role models, just figuring shit out as I go, then you can do it as well. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions when it comes to hiring, onboarding, training, building that amazing team for your business, just let me know in the comments. I'll respond to each one of those personally, and I'll see you in the next video.